Hello everyone, you have come to Tata Comic Preview channel. Let read together. Have fun. Zhou looked at the surrounding scenery. From where he was, he had a great view. Then, he turned around and swept his gaze across the cultivators in front of the Evil Sky Pavilion's great hall. Everywhere he looked, there were nascent divinity realm cultivators. There were also the many cultivators who hovered outside the barrier, and those at the foot of the mountain. Rise, Zhou said. Everyone lifted their heads at Zhou's word. Apart from fear and respect, a hint of anticipation could be seen in their eyes. I'll be preaching about the method to reach the 9-leaf stage today on hopes that all of you will reach the 9-leaf stage soon so that you can fight the beasts together, Zhou said. Since the dawn of men, we've always advanced in the midst of disasters. That was how it was, and how it will always be. Although Zhou's tone was indifferent, his words stirred up waves of emotions in the cultivators' hearts. I won't elaborate on how the 9-leaf stage will bring forth disasters and the invasion from the Red Lotus domain. The cultivators present had vaguely heard about these matters. However, that was not important now. Their priority now was to raise their cultivation bases as quickly as possible. News of the Red Lotus domain would spread throughout Great Yen sooner or later. Cultivation itself is defying the heavens. The heavens set a shackle on life, it's a taboo. Due to this, humans' cultivation has been stuck at the 8-leaf stage. It's difficult to progress further. I managed to solve this problem through sheer coincidence and reached the 9-leaf stage. Today, I will openly speak about what I know. When Zhou spoke, he would pause briefly in between his words, and he spoke in a calm tone. At this point, Zhou had everyone's undivided attention. All the cultivators stared at him as they listened to his words. All of them were beside themselves with excitement. However, it had to be said that they would have preferred it if the Patriarch could preach on the ground. It was slightly tiring having to crane their necks up for so long. Then, Zhou proceeded to reveal to the cultivators several ways a person could reach the 9-leaf stage. There were 3 methods. One was to sever one's golden lotus and recultivate to the 9-leaf stage. Second was to break through with one's golden lotus. Third was to choose not to form a golden lotus when one entered the nascent divinity realm. When the cultivators heard the golden lotus required more than 1,000 years of life, there was a slight commotion as they discussed among themselves. No wonder it's impossible to reach the 9-leaf stage. That's why the predecessors who attempted the 9-leaf stage died shortly after their failure. The 9-leaf stage needs more than 1,000 years of life, but an 8-leaf cultivator can only live for 1,000 years. This is a problem without a solution. However, it seems like Senior G has found a solution though. There's no need to worry about that if you don't have a golden lotus. The one who discovered this method is a genius. Zhou swept his gaze across the cultivators who were having a lively discussion. The cultivators were tactful and quietened down immediately. I won't elaborate about other matters. Just look closely. The most exciting part was finally here. The cultivators watched unblinkingly as their eyes were trained on Zhou. Zhou slowly spun toward the sky and looked at the cultivators outside the barrier. The cultivators outside the barrier could clearly see him as well. That was not too bad even though they could hear his words. Zhou focused his mind. He raised his right hand slowly. Whiz. There was a familiar sound of resonance. A miniature golden lotus avatar appeared above his palm. It was an 8-leaf golden lotus. Mingxian was all smiles when he saw this. He said, "When I sprout my leaf next time, I want to stand there as well." Duanmu, who was standing next to Mingxian, asked, "Aren't you planning to remain at the 8-leaf stage forever? If Master can reach the 9-leaf stage without severing his golden lotus, I should be able to do it as well." Mingxian stroked his chin with one hand and held his arm with the other. Duanmu turned around and held his overlord spear before himself. He stared at Mingxian. An ominous feeling rose in Mingxian's heart, so he hastily said, "Look. Master is about to start." Meanwhile, Zhou watched the golden lotus spin. His 8 leaves were succulent like never before. They were bright and dazzling. Then, he raised his hand, and his avatar rose. In just an instant, golden radiant rings appeared around its waist and slid down. It's the same process of sprouting leaves that we're familiar with. The primal chi of the avatar is gathered in the golden lotus, promoting the growth of a leaf. At that time, you sprout the leaf. That's how it is for the 1 to the 8 leaf stage. Those without a golden lotus can directly stimulate the sprouting of the leaves. Look closely. Zhou looked at his golden lotus avatar intently as energy rings slid down one after another. Everything seemed ordinary, nothing was out of place. It was as silent as a graveyard in front of the evil sky pavilion's great hall. Nobody moved as well. The cultivators nodded when they saw the golden lotus picking up speed as it spun. So, that's how it is. Maintaining a high speed will stimulate the lotus leaf. Senior G's methods are truly of a high level. Ordinary 8-leaf cultivators can't achieve this speed. Whiz. The golden lotus spun faster. The cultivators felt their visions blurred. The 8 leaves seemed as though they had merged into one. The golden lotus looked like a golden basin now. The golden radiance was more resplendent than before as well. From below, the cultivators could only see the vague outline of the spinning lotus. Shortly after, the golden lotus resembled the sun. Zhou frowned. The radiant energy rings slid down more quickly than before. A moment later, Zhou felt his body stiffen. His skin began to wrinkle as well. He tilted his head to look at his hair. His half-black hair was visibly whitening. The energy rings would be swiftly absorbed after they entered the golden lotus. The golden lotus is sucking up his vitality. I knew it. Even the cultivators without a lotus were terrified by this sight. The 8-leaf cultivators could empathize with this the most. They had all experienced their vitality being sucked away by the golden lotus before. Zhou opened the system dashboard. Remaining life, 40,536 days. It's gone down by 400 days. A few breaths later. Remaining life, 40,036 days. 500 days were lost. The numbers kept falling. Although Zhou was aware of the secret of a cultivator's vitality being sucked away due to his memories, he was still shocked by the golden lotus effect now that he was experiencing it. Zhou no longer hesitated. A reversal card materialized in his left palm. Use. On the dashboard, his life was prolonged for another 500 days. However, as the golden lotus spun, it quickly dropped by 500 days again. Zhou flipped his left hand again and used another reversal card. As Zhou kept using the reversal cards, a peculiar scene began to emerge. The vitality in the surroundings was converging toward him. The vitality within 1,000 meters converged toward Zhou's body like clouds being blown by the wind. When the 4 elders saw this, realization dawned on them. They recalled the times they saw vitality gathering in the Eastern Pavilion's courtyard back then. On the other hand, the cultivators were completely at a loss. Meanwhile, the cultivators without a golden lotus did not care about the converging vitality. They kept their eyes trained on the spinning golden lotus. The cultivators knew the evil sky pavilion's patriarch had overcome the problem of longevity being sucked away. At the same time, they understood that it was extremely difficult to fulfill the requirements of reaching the 9-leaf stage with the golden lotus. In any case, severing the lotus or keeping the lotus was up to the individual. As the golden lotus absorbed Zhou's life force, it grew stronger. Although Zhou had deliberately manifested his avatar in a miniature size, it was now much larger than before. Zhou kept using his reversal cards as vitality kept converging toward him. Zhou looked at the spinning golden lotus. At this moment, it resembled a golden vortex that kept devouring the reversal card's life force. At the same time, he did not forget to keep an eye on the system dashboard. The numbers would rise and fall. However, for now, it was balanced. It was just as he had predicted. The next step was to verify if the reversal cards, which contained 1,200 years of life, could satisfy the golden lotus so that he could reach the 9-leaf stage. The radiant rings slid down more swiftly now as the spinning golden lotus increased in size. The rate at which his life force was being absorbed had increased as well. The radiance grew brighter as well. Lu Zhou remained calm. He pushed his palm forward. His avatar grew to a height of 100 feet. This was the largest size for an 8-leaf avatar. The golden radiance from the lotus completely shrouded Lu Zhou's body. Everyone within several miles of Golden Court Mountain and at the foot of the mountain could see the towering 100-foot avatar in the air. The cultivators in the vicinity knew this was the evil sky pavilion's patriarch showing the world how to reach the 9-leaf stage. The cultivators with high comprehension skills would be enlightened after watching an elite sprouting a leaf. With this, their leaf sprouting process would be smooth as well. It was just like how the Buddhist, Taoist, and Confucian societies taught their disciples their ultimate moves. The master would first make a demonstration, and the students and disciples would try to replicate it and improve it on their own. Meanwhile, Lu Zhou looked at his remaining reversal cards. He had 792 cards left. He did not expect to use more than 100 reversal cards in just a quarter of an hour. If Lu Zhou did not prepare enough reversal cards before he attempted the 9-leaf stage, similar to his host, he would have rapidly aged and died as a result. The Golden Lotus ability to absorb one's life force was truly terrifying. He suddenly recalled Gong Yuan'er, the sword path genius of the northern capital, even went as far as to remain inside a coffin in the sword's mausoleum for 100 years just to attempt the 9-leaf stage. In fact, 100 years was nothing to an 8-leaf Golden Lotus cultivator. Gong Yuan'er's experience was not meaningless. Gong Yuan'er had revealed the fact that Golden Lotuses absorbed cultivators' life forces. Lu Zhou remembered the leader of the 3 sects, Yuan'er, as well. He lost many years of his life trying to reach the 9-leaf stage. He even sealed the memories of his attempt inside a chessboard. From that, Lu Zhou confirmed that Golden Lotuses truly absorbed cultivators' life forces. Then, did this mean Luo Shiyin's record about the Golden Lotus absorbing 1,200 years of life was true? At this time, Lu Zhou was prepared to stop sprouting the 9th leaf at any moment. If there was even the slightest abnormality, he was going to stop immediately without any hesitation. He was even prepared to accept the loss of the 900 reversal cards he had used. Apart from that, it was also not important what the other cultivators might think. After all, with his disguise cards and heavenly writing powers, he could still maintain his status. If it came down to it, he could just thicken the skin on his face and say this was only a demonstration of what they should not do when sprouting the 9th leaf. Whiz. Currently, Lu Zhou's Golden Lotus was spinning twice as quickly compared to before. Apart from that, he was also using up his reversal cards much more quickly. He comforted himself that he was going to use the reversal cards sooner or later anyway, there was no point in saving them. Use all of the reversal cards. The cultivators looking up from the Evil Sky Pavilion's Great Hall discovered the Golden Lotus had completely obscured their vision. The vitality energy in the air had converged to one specific point. The sky above the Evil Sky Pavilion that was filled with vitality shocked the cultivators slightly. Many people wanted to see Lu Zhou's appearance. Alas, they could only see his silhouette. However, there were more people who were focused on the Golden Lotus. At this moment, the vitality energy in the surroundings surged and rose like a tsunami. The cultivators inside the barrier felt the powerful vitality around them, expressions of bewilderment could be seen on their faces. No one, including the Evil Sky Pavilion's disciples, knew what method Lu Zhou used to obtain so much vitality energy. The Evil Sky Pavilion disciples had witnessed their master's Blue Lotus. Compared to when the Blue Lotus bloomed, the vitality now was much purer and denser. This is the crucial stage. I didn't expect it'd be so difficult to reach the 9-leaf stage. Since Senior G has been a 9-leaf cultivator for a while now, I can't begin to imagine how difficult it must have been when he first attempted to reach the 9-leaf stage. However, don't you think this looks like the real thing? Senior G is truly amazing. He can even recreate such lifelike reenactment of breaking through to the 9-leaf stage. The Golden Lotus was buzzing louder than before due to its increased spinning speed. Lu Zhou, who was basking in the golden light, no longer thought about how others might perceive him. All his attention was focused on reaching the 9-leaf stage. He had no experience nor techniques, this was his first time attempting to break through to the 9-leaf stage. In Great Yen, this was also the first time anyone had reached this stage in the process of reaching the 9-leaf stage. Lu Zhou looked at his remaining life. Remaining life, 433,500 days. Minus 300. Minus 200. Minus 400. This series of numbers meant that the reversal cards was bringing him back to his youth. He touched his face and looked at his hair. His skin felt as supple as a newborn's, and his hair was as dark as ink. He was slightly distracted by these discoveries. Am I handsome now? Buzz. The buzzing sound from the golden lotus quickly pulled him back to his senses and away from his narcissistic thoughts. He noticed the numbers on the interface were still dwindling. This meant the golden lotus was still absorbing his life force. Meanwhile, the cultivators felt uneasy as they watched Lu Zhou. They were worried and nervous as though they were the ones who were trying to sprout the ninth leaf. Although they knew this was just a demonstration, they could not help but feel amazed. The cultivators outside the barrier who were unqualified to enter saw this dazzling display as well. The cultivators, both inside and outside the barrier, were hit with a sudden realization of why the Patriarch chose to demonstrate the process of sprouting the ninth leaf in the sky above the evil sky pavilion. It was so that everyone could see the demonstration with their own eyes. All of them could help but feel moved by his magnanimity. The dazzling golden light burst forth from the 100-foot avatar that towered over everything. It struck fear into the hearts of everyone present on the scene. The dazzling light seemed to shine for a long time like the sun and the moon. Meanwhile, Lu Zhou, who kept his eyes trained on his avatar, discovered the golden lotus that resembled a vortex had begun to slow down. When he looked at the dashboard, he noticed the numbers had been reduced by half. Is it finally satiated? The rate the golden lotus was absorbing his life force was slowing down. At the same time, he felt his own body. He seemed to be in his prime after youth was returned to him. Time ticked by. Although the speed had slowed down, the numbers on the interface were still dwindling. Naturally, he would age each time the numbers dwindle. At this moment, a small commotion broke out among the cultivators. Look! The avatar is growing taller. Someone exclaimed. The golden lotus has grown larger as well. The ninth leaf is about to sprout. Everyone held their breaths at this moment as their eyes were firmly trained on the golden lotus. To everyone else, Lu Zhou was merely giving a demonstration. That was why he was so calm and composed. However, despite Lu Zhou's outwardly calm expression, inwardly, he was beginning to feel uneasy. Am I close to the nine-leaf stage yet? The golden lotus speed slowed down again while the golden light's brightness remained the same. In the forest beyond Golden Court Mountain's barrier, the middle-aged red lotus cultivator fisted his hands as he stared at the avatar above the evil sky pavilion. A hint of surprise could be heard in his voice as he muttered disgruntledly, "The Golden Lotus Domain's nine-leaf cultivator is able to gather so much vitality?" He was perplexed. He could not understand what was going on. His confusion was only natural since there was no such problem in the Red Lotus domain. Since he had just arrived in the Golden Lotus domain, he was unaware in the Golden Lotus domain that one had to give up years of their lives to reach the nine-leaf stage. In his opinion, breaking through to the nine-leaf stage in the Golden Lotus domain was much more grandiose compared to breaking through to the nine-leaf stage in the Red Lotus domain. The avatar kept growing taller, and the Golden Lotus kept growing bigger. Other cultivators appeared in the forest as well, but the middle-aged man ignored them. Even other tribe cultivators from Rongxi and Rungbei had come to watch. Naturally, they could only stay outside the barrier to watch as they held their breaths. Crack! A crisp sound rang in the air. The 8 spinning golden leaves spun around a specific spot of the huge golden lotus. They seemed to be moving toward the energy rings at the avatar's waist. What's happening? I get it now. No wonder we can't break through to the nine-leaf stage. The golden lotus absorbs our lives. Once it's satiated, there would be an outpour of energy from it. Even without the golden lotus, the lotus leaves would do the same. This statement seemed to enlighten many cultivators present on the scene. When the commotion below reached Lu Zhou's ears, he refocused his attention and continued to focus on sprouting the ninth leaf. In truth, he was not sure what was happening. The numbers on the interface were still dwindling. At this moment, the numbers had dwindled until it was in the 4 digits. Wait. This is more than 1,300 years. Zhou frowned. 900 reversal cards were equivalent to more than 1,232 years. Coupled with his 112 years, he had 1,344 years of life. Remaining life, 8,675 days. However, he was left with 23 years of life now. The Golden Lotus had absorbed more than 1,300 years of his life. This was more than what Luo Shirin had recorded.